What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, this is going to be kind of lengthy because it's the top 20, but I'm going to try to get through it as quick as I can. But in my opinion, of the designers released in the last 5 years, I think these are the 20 absolute best smelling. Now, obviously, this has nothing to do with performance. Some perform better than others. It's all situational and different from person to person, but this is just my personal taste, thoughts, and opinions on what I believe. I've got 20 fragrances, designers right here in front of me that in the last 5 years have been released that I think are absolutely stellar. You might want to consider checking them out. So let's dive in, shall we? Stay tuned. This first one continues to impress me every time I smell it. It's become my favorite from Valentino. It's Valentino's Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. This is a nice spicy red apple, a little bit of earthy tobacco. Has that ambroxan smell to it. This is such a crowd pleaser. Beautiful stuff, great performance without being a beast. It just smells so good. This one makes me happy every time I smell it. I highly encourage you check this one out. Sure, Born in Roma Intense is great. No, I haven't tried Green Stravaganza yet. Uomo Intense, the original Uomo Acqua. Those first three, really, really good. There's several flankers that have come out over the years, but of the ones I've tried, this is hands down my favorite to sniff on. I think it's the best smelling of the bunch, and it pulls a compliment or two here and there. Again, that's Valentino Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. No secret when it comes to designer fragrances, I like those fantasy iris notes, the very powdery fragrances, and to me, Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir Parfum is one of the best to ever come out in the designer market. So this has that beautiful, super powdery fantasy iris note, kind of relatable to the Dior Homme line, Valentino Uomo Intense, like we mentioned in the previous segment. Fragrances like that. The difference here is there's a nice, fresh, spicy tone and a beautiful, rich, like buttery, like suede note to this one. And I was very surprised the first time I wore it just how strong this stuff is off of my skin. 5 sprays is actually quite a bit when it comes to this one. An easy 8-hour fragrance and longevity, but that first hour to 2 hours, this stuff pumps off of my skin. If you like powdery iris and you want kind of a slight twist of Narciso Rodriguez making this particular designer iris style fragrance his own with the spices and the suede note, then I would highly encourage you check out Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir Parfum. This is, at the recording of this, my favorite Jean Paul Gaultier fragrance released. I have not tried the newest flanker in this line, so I don't know yet. I'm going to be getting a bottle very soon of Le Beau Paradise Garden because I know I'm going to get asked. But for now, Le Beau Le Parfum is easily my favorite Jean Paul Gaultier fragrance over all the Le Male flankers. I love this stuff. Beautiful pineapple, coconut, tropical, sweet, fruity, fresh, powdery. The tonka bean in here gives it that nice, sweet, powdery tone. Very good performer. Super tropical. Really is. For being as sweet of a fragrance as it is, it's very much a beach vibe kind of fragrance. I've worn this fragrance to the beach, and it screams off the skin. Lasts a long time. It's not easy to find, unfortunately, but if you can, I would encourage checking it out. I had a 5 ml decant before I ever got my hands on this bottle, and once I smelled it, I had to have it. I absolutely adore this fragrance. Strong recommendation for me if you like fruity, tropical, coconut kind of fragrances. If you don't mind powdery sweet tonka bean, because that's the main thing you're going to smell here, I would encourage you to check out Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Le Parfum. Super mass appealing, fresh, a little spicy, has this smoky resinous type of feel, a nice woodsy base and a little ambery. This is actually beautiful. I think it's the best smelling of the bunch. There's 3 versions of this fragrance currently, but we're talking about Ralph's Club Parfum from Ralph Lauren. The EDP, the original, which this is still technically an EDP. It's not a full parfum, even though they call it a parfum. It's very much a kind of a blue fragrance, lavender, aromatic, nice woody tone. But this improves upon it, matures it, rounds it off a bit better. Then the Elixir is a very earthy iris fragrance. It's kind of a classy, dressier take on the DNA, whereas this is the one. If I was to recommend you get one that's going to, probably pull some compliments for you, still has a high level of versatility, works well enough in the warm weather, but works just as well in the cooler weather, dressed up, dressed down, I would encourage you to check this one out. This smells fantastic. Get out to a department store and try it. There's no guarantee this will be your favorite of the 3, but in my opinion, I think it's the best smelling version of Ralph's Club. This is Ralph's Club Parfum. This fragrance is so beloved at this point, it's becoming cliched. We're talking about Sauvage Elixir from Dior. It is very much beloved, and because of the love it gets naturally, there's people that are going to hate it for it. And that's kind of weird, but it's the inevitable balance of things. When there's love, there's going to be hate. And I absolutely adore it. There are tons of fragrances out there that have cloned this. I get it, but none of them really capture that special something, that magic, as I like to refer to it when it comes to the clones versus the originals. Once in a while, a clone can get pretty close with it. But with this one, obviously the original is still the best way to go. It is a nuclear performer. You don't need a lot with this. 2 to 3 sprays is plenty for me. If you spray this one 5 times, you are filling. It doesn't matter how big the room is. You're filling the room. Now, I wouldn't say a stadium. Don't take it literally when I say that, but the average room size banquet hall, people are going to smell you everywhere. This lingers. This pumps off the skin. This lasts until you wash it off, basically. Warm, spicy, woodsy, aromatic. Not really all that sweet. Kind of has that classic masculine barbershop spicy, like much spicier than the typical barbershop fragrance, but very much. People like to kind of compare this to Drakkar Noir. I get the tie-in. This is a richer, darker fragrance than that, but I totally get the relation that people get to that. But man, this is absolutely a must-try, especially if you're looking for a monster performer. It's Dior Sauvage Elixir. Cypress, oak wood, a little bit of lemon, has this marine aquatic feel. Tom Ford's Costa Azzurra Parfum, one that does not get any love, that I'm actually a huge fan of. I'm a huge fan of this fragrance. I kind of wear it sparingly. It's kind of, when it comes to blue fragrances, kind of falls into the special blue category for me, where certain occasions when I want something mass appealing but still interesting, this is the kind of thing I'll want to reach for. I haven't worn it in a little while. I've been wearing the Acqua flanker more so lately, because I have the Eau de Parfum, the clear frosted bottle like this, the signature line Eau de Parfum, and then I have the Acqua flanker. The EDT. Bright, fresh. This is the densest, the darkest, the woodsiest of the bunch, but this is also the most well-rounded, I guess, classiest smelling of the group. Even though it's still a blue fragrance at its core, it's much more of a woodsy dominant blue fragrance, and it being oak wood, it has an interesting nuance that kind of separates it from most blue fragrances. Very sharp lemon, grassy green, more of a piney green feel because it's cypress. It's not really all that minty of a cypress, but it does offer this fresh green feel. Has a very coastal vibe to it, by the hanging by the marinas and such. Hence the name Costa Azzurra. Beautiful fragrance, great performance. Definitely worth a try. Costa Azzurra Parfum. Now this was a summertime release. This was a flanker to a flanker, and I'm just going off of the topic, best smelling to me, that's been released in the last 5 years. And for me, the best smelling Acqua di Gio ever is Profondo Lights. This is still my favorite. Now, scent. Overall, I still think Profumo is the best they've ever done in this line. Some people will say Essenza. Everybody's got their favorite. When it comes to just the scent alone, it's this, because it takes what was great about the blue aquatic, oceanic feel about Profondo, got rid of some of that heavy, screechy synthetic tone in the opening, and really enhanced the greenery like rosemary, and gave it this fresh green and spicy feel while still being an aquatic blue that dries into Profondo's DNA. This is so good. This is, for a stretch, I was definitely going to say this was my favorite version of Acqua di Gio, but in the last 5 years, because Profondo got released previous to that, so it doesn't even fall into this category. But in the last 5 years, this is definitely the best of the best as far as just the scent profile. And when I say best of the best, my favorite of all my favorites. That's what when I say best, I mean my favorite. And that's the case here. This is my favorite. It smells incredible. It's much more of a fresh green, spicy fragrance than it is just straight up oceanic and aquatic. And I think that's what I like about the twist from the original Profondo. And that's Acqua di Gio Profondo Lights. Now I always get torn between this one and Absolutely, but this is the one. If I was just going to wear one, I want Stronger With You Leather. Strong With You Leather. Look at that highly reflective. There's the screen for the camera and everything, but see if I can get it to focus. It's going to be difficult, but we got it. Strong With You Leather. It's literally this simple, guys. It smells like Strong With You EDT plus a soft leather accord. It's that simple. It dries into Strong With You. The leather's up top, and you still get a good bit of it for the first few hours. Performance is great on this one. It's my favorite. I like the entire line. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of this line. but I love that robust leather accord. That's added to that sweet, spicy, roasted chestnut DNA that this fragrance is known for. So if you like Strong With You like leather fragrances, guess what? You're destined to like this one, Strong With You leather. Now, I don't remember if it's grapefruit or citron. I think it's grapefruit. But this is one of the best citrus openings I ever smelled in a fragrance. This is one of the best money can buy. And I don't just mean favorite. I mean best when I say it this time. For the summer, it is Terre d'Hermes Eau Givree. I exclusively spray this one during the summer. This is magnificent. This is juicy, mouth-watering citrus. The woody notes that are here, it's really that vetiver oil that they use across the line, because it does have that woodsy, earthy, slightly smoky vetiver smell from the rest of the line. It's just toned back as a supportive base note. The star of the show is all this fresh citrus. Sharp, a little bitter, has kind of that rind smell to it. Man, this is so good, so refreshing. This is a must try. I had to have this one in here. And when I was putting together, I was going to do 15, but there was a few, and this was one of them was like, I can't leave that out. So that's why we're doing 20 instead of 15, because the fragrances like this had to be in this video. It just smells too good. Other things didn't need to get bumped, but this indeed needed to be in here. That's my point. It's to the point of you have to smell. I had to talk about this because if you haven't tried it, please get a sample and try this fragrance. If you're looking for your next citrus summer banger, here it is, Terre d'Hermes Eau Givree. In my opinion, the king of the Polo Blue Mountain, Polo Bleu Parfum. I think they did magnificent work with this because it does smell like the original Polo Blue, darker, smoother, and richer. Still has that oceanic green melon cucumber type of smell to it while having this resinous woodsy ambery tone. It's smooth, it's rich, it could dress up really well. This is one of those few blue fragrances I would say you can totally rock with a suit and it will make sense. Sometimes blues are just too synthetic, too aquatic, where it's too casual, too laid back, too summertime for a suit and tie, whereas this is one of the few. There's a few blues, this one specifically, where I think totally works in a dressy occasion, but just as well casually in a t-shirt as I am right now. I just love the way it smells. I think they really did this DNA justice with this particular flanker. Gold Blend slash the Eau de Parfum were kind of my favorites before this came around, but this is my clear cut favorite and the one I would recommend you check out. Again, it's Ralph Lauren's Polo Bleu. Let me get it to focus. Parfum. This line's known for this bitter almond note as its signature oil. And they've twisted and tweaked this DNA without getting away from the original. It's flankered properly because a house like Guerlain, of course they're going to get it right. But there's an argument for this being the top one. I go back and forth between the L'Intense and Gan Lom Eau Extreme. This has a nice earthy tobacco, rich juicy plum that offer this almost medicinal-like feel, the way this plum comes across, while still being sweet, a little nutty from the almond note, even a little bit of a leathery nuance as it dries. It just wows me every time I smell it, I think is the best way I can put it. So I was very torn. I'm always torn when it comes to featuring this or the L'Intense. Lately it's been this, so I guess this is now my favorite over the L'Intense, which is kind of crazy because I love the enhanced leather and smoke accords of that one. The whole line's good, guys. This is one of those highly collectible lines, is this Gan Lom Eau line, and this is a must try. Absolute must try. If you like plum, if you like tobacco, if you like Guerlain, if you like almond fragrances, if you like any of that stuff, do yourself a favor because it smells that good. It's Gan Lom Eau Extreme. Come on, there we go. Focus. Sweet, aromatic, powdery, little green, rich. There's an earthiness here. It's potent too. It's Le Male Elixir from Jean-Paul Gaultier. And some of you are going to say, man, I hope Le Male Le Parfum's in here. I debated. I didn't want to feature more than one from the same line. There's multiples from same houses here, but I didn't want to do multiples from the same line, so it was really difficult. Because we got more than one Ralph Lauren fragrance in here. We got a Le Beau flanker as well as a Le Male flanker, but it was really hard to pick between this and Le Male Le Parfum. Le Male Le Parfum being a warm, spicy, powdery fragrance. This is still powdery, but sweeter. Not as warm and spicy Much thicker and crazy strong. Crazy strong. There's an argument for this being the best elixir of the bunch when it comes to these elixir flankers. I mean, here's two of them right here. They get it right with these elixir flankers. What can I say? If you haven't smelled this one out, get to a department store, get to a Macy's, wherever they sell Jean Paul Gaultier fragrances, and get this on skin. Don't just smell this on a test strip. You don't need a lot of sprays. A 75 ml like this will go a long way. You don't necessarily need the 125 ml bottle. It's great. It does tie into the original's DNA, but you have to like sweet fragrances. You got to keep that in mind. Again, it's centered around vanilla and tonka bean, as a lot of designer fragrances are these days. So if you like that kind of stuff, you'll probably love this fragrance. It smells absolutely remarkable to me. It's Le Male Elixir. Now here's one that's a kind of a fun fragrance, I think. Now, fun as in it surprises me more every time I wear it and smell it. Not fun as in youthful, because it's not a youthful fragrance. It is Chopard's Cedar Malaki, an unsung hero released in 2023. This is fresh greens, aromatics, very woodsy, full of cedar, as the name would indicate. Cedar Malaki, cedar leaf, cedar wood. It's got both, as well as a nice incense hit that offers this smoky, resinous feel. It's still very airy because there's full of aromatics in here. And performance is solid. You can get it for around 70 to 80 bucks from discounters for this 80 ml. I absolutely adore the way this fragrance smells. This isn't for everyone. It's not, again, not a youthful, playful fragrance, but when it comes to green, woodsy, and it's a green, woodsy, smoky, aromatic fragrance. That's the easiest way I can describe it. If any of that sounds good, I would encourage getting your nose on this, because this might be the next fragrance you need to add to your fragrance wardrobe and or fragrance collection. And it's an above average performer. Not a beast, but it's pretty strong. It's Chopard's Cedar Malaki. Now, when it comes to the 1 million line, it's a toss-up, because they've been doing good for a while. They put a lot of good flankers out. And this is, look, some people are going to say the Elixir here. Some people might even say the Royal flanker. Some people are going to say Golden Oud. I get it. Any one of those could have went right here. But for me, the Parfum. It came out in 2020. I believe it was 2020. I love this one. It still has that playful bubblegum smell. This creamy tuberose white floral gives it this sunscreen type of vibe, which gives it this element of the beach for being a sweet 1 million fragrance that's thick, dense, and very strong. It works in the summertime. It just does. I have tested it myself. I had heard things like that about it. Then when I finally got it, I gave it a go during this, warm Gulf Coast heat by the beach, and totally works. And it doesn't hurt that my wife's a big fan of this one. This is her favorite of my 1 million flankers, which I have most of them, and it's kind of become my favorite. Yes, I love Privé and Lucky and Elixir and all those different ones. They're all great. Like I said, the 1 million line, it's great. It just speaks to me. It does. I like all the fragrances. I like the playfully sweet stuff too. This is playfully sweet. This is a fun fragrance. It just smells really good to me. What can I say? My favorite of the 1 millions. It's 1 million Parfum. In my opinion, until Chanel gives me a Bleu de Chanel Elixir, which I don't know if they're going to. I've been begging for like 2 years. I don't know if they're ever going to do it. But Bleu de Chanel Parfum is phenomenal. Citruses, very, very warm and woodsy. Polished, refined, like I was speaking of with Polo Bleu Parfum. This is the other one I mainly reference when I say a blue fragrance that dresses up well. This is a professional's blue fragrance. This can be suit and tie everyday wear to work. This has that level of elegance for being a synthetic-based blue, because it's full of isoe super, cashmere wood, all these different man-made aroma chemicals. It smells great. Oh, it smells so good. Lasts a long time, not real loud, but has this consistent bubble, kind of an aura of a scent, if you will. It's not real big of a scent bubble, but it's consistent, and it has a strong density to it for the bit that you do get. At least that's been my experience. Love the way this one smells. It is very pricey for being a designer fragrance, but it's one of the rare times I would say it's worth the money. Obviously, you need to try this before you just go out and drop $190 on 100 ml, because it was $150 for 100 ml when I bought it years ago. But it is that good, at least to me. And technically, now that I'm thinking about this, this wasn't supposed to go in this video. I just really want to talk about it, because this came out in 2018. It's 2024, 6 years ago, so my bad. But it just dawned on me literally while I'm talking about it. But I'm not taking it out. We're talking about it. It's damn good. It's still one of the best smelling fragrances in recent memory. So there, I said it, because I'm glad I actually addressed it, because guess what was going to happen? The peanut gallery was going to say, "Oh, bro, You screwed up. Bleu de Chanel was 2018. That's not 5 years. That kind of stuff happens. But here we go. I corrected myself, but you know what? I stand by what I said. It's still that damn good. Try the damn fragrance. If you like warm, woodsy with still a little bit of citrus fresh, it's phenomenal. It's Bleu de Chanel Parfum. To me, it's the best of the bunch. I like the entire line. I haven't tried the new Elixir, however you say it, but let's just call it Elixir, that L apostrophe crap. I don't know how to pronounce it yet. I haven't heard anybody say it. But, because I avoid others' opinions, I try to be blind going into stuff I really want to get. But Y Le Parfum from Yves Saint Laurent, until further notice, it's the best smelling one to me. I'm quite a fan of it. I think it smells fantastic. Love that black piano finish. Just blacked out. It's great. So, what's so special about this versus the rest? So, it's a nice happy medium between the extremes of the EDT and the Eau de Parfum. Because it's not as cloyingly sweet as the Eau de Parfum, but it's close to being as strong. Because the Eau de Parfum is the strongest of the bunch. But it still maintains the freshness and the aldehydes of the Eau de Toilette. I love the aldehydes of the original Eau de Toilette. That's why for a long time, it was my favorite one. It's the only one I have more than one bottle of. Citrus, a little bit of fruit, ginger, bright, crisp, and spicy. Clean, creamy, a little musky as it dries, not too woodsy. It's great. It performs really well. 8 to 10 hours of longevity. Again, it's not a nuclear beast like my bottle of the Eau de Parfum is, but it's also stronger than all the other versions. The Live Intense, Eau Fraiche, the EDT, YEDP Intense. This is the second strongest of the bunch on me and for me, and the one that I would encourage you to check out the most, because I think it's the most balanced of offering what's available across the entire range from the Y line in this one beautiful piano black bottle. And that's Yves Saint Laurent's Y Le Parfum. Orange blossoms, citruses, and woods done right. This is another one, very, very smooth. These parfum flankers from these designer brands are always really good, or at least they just really speak to my taste. And Gucci Guilty Parfum is definitely one of those. Super easy to wear. It's not that scratchy, overly powdery, fleshy kind of orange blossom that a lot of these designer fragrances have. Now, some of the others in the line that are lower oil concentration, maybe not as smooth, a little scratchy, but if you like orange blossom, you probably like the Gucci Guilty flankers, as most of them feature orange blossom prominently. But this is the most wearable, most versatile, and most professional, in my opinion, of the bunch because of the smoothness. So if you've ever been a fan of the orange blossom note in men's fragrance, or just in fragrance in general, this is one that's definitely worth checking out. This smells great. That smells great. It is my absolute favorite to wear, even though the Absolute flanker, I think, is the most impressive of the bunch, but also the most polarizing. I don't know what's not to like about this. It just smells so good. It's not overly spicy. It's not too musky. It's not crazy wood dominant. The orange blossom's not overdone. Everything's just kind of smooth and harmonious and has a thickness to the aroma, but still being highly versatile. I just love it. It smells great. It's Gucci Guilty Parfum. Smoky vanilla, ambery, and earthy from some patchouli. It smells nothing like the namesake. The original DNA, I get none of the original DNA. But Invictus Victory Elixir from Paco Rabanne, or now it's called Rabanne. They dropped the Paco. This is amazing. I can't wait for the new Invictus Parfum to come out, because that's going to tie to the DNA. I have a feeling I'm going to really like the Invictus Parfum. I haven't smelled it yet at the recording of this, but this was the most recent release, and I do prefer it to Victory, even though Victory's a little bit fresher, not as earthy, not as sweet. That one's a little bit more wearable and versatile in more situations. This is still more impressive to me. I like a really good smoky vanilla. That wins me over every time, and the addition of this pretty earthy patchouli smell really gives it some depth and some character, and kind of adds a level of maturity to what would be an overall kind of generic, playful vanilla designer scent. I think they did a really good job here, and performance is fantastic. Man, it smells so good. I love smelling this one every single time I smell it. Oh, beautiful fragrance. Strongly encourage you to check this one out. Smoky vanilla, earthy patchouli, warm and ambery. It's that simple with Rabanne's Invictus Victory Elixir. Now, this is my favorite in the line. They've never done wrong, in my opinion, when it comes to releases in this line. This is Viktor and Rolf's Spicebomb Night Vision Eau de Parfum. This was my favorite designer fragrance released in 2023. Now, we've moved past the weather that I prefer to wear this in because it's gotten much warmer. We're kind of full-fledged in the spring at this point. At the recording this last several days have been around 70, low 70s. And I'm not saying I can't wear this indoors at night when I think would be best suited anyways, but I've kind of moved away from it till the fall, but that doesn't change how great it smells. It is definitely one of the best smelling releases in the last 5 years to me personally. Reason being, I love the resinous, smoky, leathery nature with that fiery red hot spice that was still present in the Eau de Toilette version of Infrared. It's smoother, it's more mature, because when you smell Infrared Eau de Toilette, you don't realize how playful and sweet that fragrance is until you smell the Eau de Parfum. Then it gives you some perspective. At least that's what happened to me. Obviously, Infrared Eau de Toilette's phenomenal. Like I said, they haven't done wrong in the line. I think every single one of the releases, including Night Vision EDT, have been a really good release at minimum. So I would encourage checking them out. Just like with everything else in this video, there's a reason these are the 20 that we're talking about, because I highly recommend them. And maybe none more so than this one. It might even be my favorite fragrance in this video. I don't know. I kind of got to really give that some thought, but I enjoy all of them anyway. So definitely check this out if you want a nice leathery, smoky, spicy fragrance. The Spicebomb Infrared Eau de Parfum. Last but not least, we got one more from Hermes, and I was kind of torn between the Eau de Toilette, but I ended up going with the Eau de Parfum of H24. No, I haven't tried the newest one yet. Herbe Vive, I believe is what it's called. This is phenomenal, though. So this takes everything that I found very original and attractive about the Eau de Toilette. It still has that fresh green citrus peel-like smell to it, even though there's supposedly no citrus in here. Has that metallic smell, a little bit of florals, but adds this earthy green tone of oak moss. Really gives depth and character to the scent profile without losing too much freshness. You do lose some of that airy tone from the Eau de Toilette because you increase the oil concentration, you add a heavier, darker green note, but I still think you could pull this one off in the summertime if you really want to. Earthy green, metallic, it's a strange fragrance. It's synthetic, it's man-made chemicals in here, it's very metallic. A very metallic smell. You have to like that. Performance is great on here, it's very unique. Outside of its own DNA, its other flankers in the line, which as of the recording of this, there's 3, and I have 2 of the 3. Very unique fragrance. I got to give it to Hermes for stepping outside the box. I love seeing where they're going with this DNA because I thought the Eau de Toilette was a great release for them. And I think the follow-up with the Eau de Parfum, even better. They put another best foot forward effort with this fragrance. So obviously I think you'd be great checking out the Eau de Toilette as well to see where the DNA starts. But if you want the superior version, to me, this is the better smelling of the two. It's H24 Eau de Parfum from Hermes. Well, that's my 20. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. Of these 20, what have you tried and what do you think about them? Obviously, this isn't the only 20 that are some of the best smelling stuff as far as designers that's come out in the last handful of years or so. Because they put a lot of good designers out. I got to say, I'm here for it. I'm technically at my core, I'm more of a designer guy than I am a niche guy. I do appreciate fragrances of all quality and all price points because I just love fragrance. I'm a big mark for it. What can I say? I'm a big time fragrance enthusiast. But these are 20 of my favorites that have come out in recent memory. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 20 and you give them a spray now, good chance you might thank me later. Have a good one, guys.